Coach, this is the last week before you get a little bit of time off. So
Yeah.
how important is the structure of this week, what you want to accomplish this week before your guys get a nice deserving break?
Yeah, we've been in and they've been terrific. Obviously here just starting week 3, but the day-to-day work has been tremendous. Anytime you're bringing a group together, I think that's always the number one foundational piece of of how a team's gonna look and how they're gonna play is the commitment level. Is there a unified commitment level to the work that's got to be done to develop the habits? And we got a lot of new faces. So we're taking it slow, kind of going one step at a time. But that's we kind of look at a season like climbing a mountain. And when you're climbing a mountain, you got to do it one step at a time. We're at the very beginning of the mountain right now. But guys have come in and I thought really tried to work with a purpose. We talk about that a lot. That old George Washington quote. Common things in an uncommon way, and you'll capture the attention of the world. And guys have come in. I thought the day-to-day attention to detail, the day-to-day effort. The care factor has been really high. Returners doing a great job of leading. New guys are coming in doing a great job of being receptive to learning. And there's got to be that unified commitment to the day-to-day process of what it takes to build these habits. And so far so good, but a big week ahead. And then as you said, they get about a 10, 11-day break. Go home, rest, rejuvenate, and then we come back and have a 4-week sprint there to the beginning of August.
I don't want to say that your message really has changed since day one. I can remember you telling your first team here, you really better love basketball because the way you guys attack it, the way your summers are set up, the way your practices are set up is you really work on the game constantly. What is it about this team that you feels like they're just wired that way? I know that's why you go out and recruit those guys.
Yeah.
What specifically about this team makes them just such a workman-like, maximizing the amount of time you get with them?
Yeah, I always think, we always talked about it going back to before I got here. The way we do things is not for everybody. There's guys who don't work. There's guys who do the required. There's guys who work hard. And there's guys who are obsessed with it. I've always done better with guys who are obsessed with it. Probably have for a team that I've been a part of the most guys who are obsessed with it. Who, they come in every single day and they are after it. And our breakfast club in the morning when guys come in with the graduate assistants, managers, and getting shots up to what we're doing in film, watching film at night, calling with questions. The way they're trying to process and work. We probably have, for a team I've coached, as many guys that I would quantify, or maybe most guys I've had that I'd say they're obsessed with it. And that makes it fun because they're coming in every single day. And if you love this, then from a basketball standpoint, if you're really a guy who's obsessed with it, want to be the best you can be, then I think it's an environment that guys really like a fish in water. I mean, it's gonna propel you to do some things that maybe individually you wouldn't have been able to do otherwise. And then on the flip side, if that's not who you are, it's going to expose you. And so we've always seen both sides of that coin going back many years. It's the way we do things, not for everybody, but we are very transparent in the recruiting process. And I really think the guys that we brought in, you never know with we talked about this I think last time, with the transfers, the portals is such a quick courtship, and you try to know because I think, when I was a younger coach, I recruited to try to get a kid. I thought you'll just get him and figure it out. But as you get older, you realize you recruit to make it work. It's not as important to get the kid. It's important when you get a kid that you think it's really going to work in the short term and long term, that they understand what they're getting into and you understand what you're getting. And 'cause that's the most important part to a guy's success is who they are, and you got to really get to know that. But in the portal, everything's expedited. And so I felt like we did well in terms of getting guys that not only could fit here. The freshmen we knew because there was that longer runway. So Jaden and Derek and Eli, I mean, you go through the process, the summer, the families, the visits, you spend a lot of time with them, and it's pretty obvious that we thought they could play here and fit here. The 4 guys from the portal, I mean, they're all 4 guys who started last year at other schools, but we really thought they fit, who we are. Like they're guys who love to work. They're guys who love to compete. I think they're guys who play to win, don't play for stats. I think they're guys who are great teammates. And they're, we've seen that here in these first few weeks that, they are who we thought they are. And the one piece we have to go through that, we can't right now is adversity. I think that's always the truest test. But from what they're doing day to day, and that's really what it is, as you get into summer, everybody's excited to start, but it's the consistency and performance over time, right? The ability to do it day after day after day. And, that's the most difficult thing in life is consistent high-level performance. And so they've done a great job, though, of coming in, and whether they've played poorly and bouncing back or played great and coming back the next day not feeling entitled to anything. I feel like the work ethic has been exactly where you need it to be a team that can accomplish some special things.
Coach, we're now here in week 3 of you guys being able to work with everyone here on campus. And, there's a lot of returning players, but you did lose, a couple of key starters. Anyone that's really kind of, pokes an eye out a little bit on early indications on who's going to take a big step and head on to the starting role next season for any specific player?
Yeah, I mean, it's way too early to project starting lineup. I'll say this. I think, we have a lot of guys back that are improved. I don't think there's one guy who played here last year, the 5 scholarship guys, that's not taking a big step forward. I think Jason Kent is playing much better. Xavier Bledson, Jabo is playing much better. Robbie's body game, I think he's vastly improved. Mason Miller is playing with more confidence and has been, terrific. And Julian Larry, I think, has taken another step in his game in terms of, his playmaking, and obviously he does so many winning things in general. But I do think he's improved his understanding of what we're doing, that corporate knowledge in the system. All 5 of those guys, are better than they were last year, and guys that, we expect to have a chance to contribute, at varying levels. You got 7 new guys. Obviously, 6 of them we've seen here regularly. We hope to have Jaden back this week, and certainly by no later than July, fingers crossed. We come back on July 10th to get back to work after this week. But the 6 guys we've seen, I think every one of them has shown why they're here. Now you're not going to play, 12 guys a game. The rotation will get to, where it is normally. 8 probably is where it is. 9 if it's really unique. But generally, so you see in the playoffs, the NBA or college teams, it's usually somewhere between a 7-8 man rotation. Special teams have 9, so you're not going to have everybody playing. But every one of those guys has shown why they're here, and I think it's been eye-popping to me being out there. I think we've kind of touched on it. I think the quickness, the playmaking, the skill, the positional size, I think are all certainly at a level that we haven't been at, since I've been here, and that's a combination of those returners, and then the pieces we've been able to add, not just the 4 guys in the portal, but obviously, Eli's done some really good things, Derek's done some really good things, and then those 4 guys, whether it's Isaiah, who's obviously a tremendously dynamic player, Ryan Conwell's got a chance to be really special. Aaron Gray is a level of athleticism we haven't had here since I've been here, in terms of his size and athletic ability. And Jake Wolf, just gets it. He just understands. He just a lot like Cam Henry, just going to go out there and impact and affect winning. So all 4 of those guys, it's the competition inside of there. Iron sharpens iron has been tremendous here when we've been able to get together as a team and go at it. The way they compete, the way they push each other, but that ironing, sharpening iron, that's been happening. The couple of days we've been in there, and we've been in there with a full team.
And we just had Isaiah Swope in here earlier, and he was just talking about how excited he is for the upcoming season, his first year at ISU, obviously being a transfer. Can you go in full detail a little bit more on just the excitement level of you guys as the coaching staff for him coming in on the Sycamores? Yeah.
I find myself every time he misses being pissed that he missed, because I was like, where was that? Last December, when he was 8 for 9 from 3, and the one he missed was a running, if I remember correct, half-court shot that hit the front of the rim and was a half an inch from going in. So I remember all those vividly, including the pullback over Jason Kent to tie it at 77 up on the scoop back. So every time he misses, I'm just so pissed at him, because I just could have given me one last year. But Isaiah is he's really special. I think he's got a lot of talent. His combination, he's so fast. He shoots the ball at such a high level. He's a willing and capable passer. He's not just a volume scorer. He wants to make the right play. He competes his butt off defensively. You know, he's small, but he's incredibly strong. He's tough. He gets his nose in there. He's constantly asking questions. He wants to get better. He wants to improve. He's always, you know, he's a guy that, you know, when he says, you know, he's right up there. You know, since I've been here, we probably had 3 guys. I think Julian, maybe 4, you know, Mace being that mix, but Julian and Sam Mervis certainly pop out to me, and Isaiah's in that same boat of guys who are, you know, obsessed at the highest level. I mean, from film to you know, when they leave here, to on the court, to every workout. Again, they don't, you know, they do the required, they blow the water, working hard, they blow that out of the water. They're at the 1% top of obsessed guys. And when you have his talent and you have that kind of work ethic and that kind of competitive character, and the basic competitive character is, you know, do you really care about your preparation piece? And this kid, from how he sleeps to how he eats to how he trains to, I mean, everything he puts in his body. I mean, he is on point with every aspect, and then he's got this incredible talent to go with it. And he's about winning. He's a guy that, you know, I think, you know, it could easily have said, hey, I'm just gonna, you know, he was in a great situation. I mean, he averaged, you know, 16 points a game and 4 assists, and they lost some guys going to build around him. And, you know, he could have stayed and done that. And he came here, you know, which shows, and they were winning at something else, wasn't that, but shows that he's about winning, and he's not about, he doesn't care. And I sincerely believe that, but I believe that's the same. I think Ryan Conwell's, you know, wired the same way. Jake Wolf is wired the same way. Aaron Gray is wired the same way. All those guys were starters where they were. They all came here to try to do something special and partner with these returners. And it's created a great mix here so far these first couple weeks.
Coach, what will really, or what is maybe the biggest adjustment for getting used to your system for a guy like Swope, a Jake Wolf?
Yeah.
You know, Voss had so much success last year, but he wasn't new to the system.
Right.
You know, he kind of knew what to set in, but I'd say Swope's ability to shot make will help him get used to it. But what is the biggest thing right now in the summer as you get into the fall that you've seen through your years that it's the biggest hurdle for guys like that to get over?
Well, first off, Voss, there's no system that could constrain Kabasi McCauley. He is a system unto himself. So there wasn't anything we were doing. It was just, you know, let Voss go hoop. So, and I tell guys all the time, if you could take those shots too, if you make 39% of your threes and make 111 of them, we'll let you do the same thing. So shot selection is a very individualized thing. But I think the hardest thing for guys is to learn to read the game in real time, right? I mean, to me, the most important thing to being a good offensive player is not whether you can pass or shoot or dribble. Or the most important thing by far is, do you understand how you're being played and how your teammates are being played? If you can actually understand that, then that unlocks everything else, right? Then it becomes important how you shoot, pass, you know, dribble, with all that other stuff. So I think understanding how they're being played, how the teammates are being played, learning how to read the game, is a challenge. The freedom that we give them, we always, you know, it's not chaos, although it may look like that sometimes, but it's, you know, there is, we call it organized randomness, right? There is structure and concepts and automatics and things they got to do that are, and they got to be able to figure those out. But then there's a lot of reads, like you could do this, or you could do that. It's really like a menu, and picking the menu, then based on the choice that's made, everybody else has to react to whether Robbie pops or he rolls, or whether we play to a get or a ball screen, or with the dribble pitch, and this guy does this, and understanding, you know, how to create an advantage, how to keep an advantage, right? And so there's a lot that goes into it. I think it takes most guys a pretty long time. Like you made the point, I thought it was accurate. You know, when you came in with the transfers last year, it took probably Cade McKnight until almost February before I thought he started to kind of play the way he was capable of. Robbie didn't play a lot early in the year, you know, probably till December. You know, he really struggled in the summer last year to figure out what we were doing. That's that corporate knowledge piece. That's why I think it's so important for us in recruiting to get guys that, you know, in a climate where everything's designed to fracture continuity, we have to have continuity. We have to be able to retain our players, because that's the biggest thing. You look at how much better Cooper Neese was in year 2 versus year, even though maybe people say, well, he averaged 15, obviously a person might say, well, he averaged 15 a game in year 1 and whatever, 11 in year 2. But if you look at the efficiency, the numbers, you know, his splits, his assist turnover ratio, everything defensively was exponentially better in year 2 than year 1. Julian Larry, his growth and the continued growth. The guys that are here and staying through that corporate knowledge piece, everybody says, well, get old and stay old, and I think there's value to that. Getting old together is a lot of value. It's that accumulated mileage that you have as a team, and I think, Isaiah and these guys, there's going to be a growth process. And honestly, it might not even be this year that we see him at his full throttle. It might be a year from now. I think, though, even without his full throttle, he's going to be massively impactful because of his ability to make shots. And you kind of touch on a little bit like Voss, where, what's a good shot for Isaiah Swope is probably not a good shot for most anybody else, but he makes them at a high enough percentage. He can make individual plays. We didn't have a lot of that last year, where a guy could go and end of the clock make an individual play. He can do that whenever he wants. Now it's getting him to understand, let's exhaust all options, and then, hey, we kind of got stuck in mud, possessions jammed up. We're not having anything good going offensively. Now it's time against the clock here for you to go make an individual play, and he's bought into that. And we got other guys, Ryan, as you've seen. I mean, these guys, we got a lot of guys. We're a lot more dynamic with that stuff than we were. So it's understanding how to utilize the freedom, how to access it, how to read the game and all those things. And as we get there, eventually, you just see guys get better and better as they go.
Really, my final question to you is, any injury update on Alex Peevler and how he's performing today?
Yeah, so AP is, he's not, they don't make him like they used to. I'll say that. He's been out. I haven't seen him since he got hit in the mouth yesterday. Got his tooth chipped in a shell drill. I mean, almost impossible, but took it. But then, big credit to Mason Miller, because we couldn't find the tooth. Everybody was looking, and it was in the white on the three-point line. And Mason Miller, Eagle Eye Mason, was able to come up, find AP's tooth. This is part of the job. I mean, you got to be able to, if you're gonna coach here, you got to be willing to put your body on the line like the players. So AG's elbow caught him, but to AP's credit, he took it like a champ and went to the dentist this morning, and hopefully he's got back to 32 teeth. We'll see when we see him here this afternoon.
Coach, this past week's NBA draft saw a lot of great talent go off the board. One player in particular you know a little too well, and that being Ben Shepard, coming here to the Indiana Pacers. Going back when you defeated them in the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament in St. Louis, you had this to say: he's an elite player. To me, he's the most dynamic scorer in the league. Nobody scores it like Ben Shepard. Any thoughts on him, seeing the success that you've been able to play against him, and now seeing him make it to the hometown team for the Pacers?
I said that before the game.
Yeah. Oh, you said it after.
Yeah, well, both. I would have said that was erudite, incisive words right there, because he is all that. I'm just happy for him, because I don't know him obviously personally, but he seems like an unbelievable kid. To come in, and I know Casey pointed out, going into last year, Belmont lost 7 out of their top 8 players, and he was the only returner. He could have easily, bounced and gone somewhere else and said, I'm going to go for greener pastures. I don't want to go into a rebuild. And he kind of prevented that from being a rebuild. I mean, when you look at him, his ability, his size, he handles the ball really well, tight spaces, shoots with range, can shoot off movement, can shoot off the dribble, gets downhill. He's a good finisher. He's a plus defender. He's got length. He's kind of a prototype, NBA 2 guard in my opinion. And so, I wasn't surprised to see him drafted, and wasn't surprised to see him drafted in the first round. Love that, he's down the road. I mean, we'll certainly be pulling for him. Like I said, from a Valley standpoint, it's obviously unbelievable. It's probably best for Belmont out of all of us, but it's great for our league too, to have somebody from the league go in the first round and be able to, certainly show that, hey, there's a pathway here. You don't have to go somewhere else to be a first-round pick. Now with AJ Green the year before, who's been with the Bucks this past year. Now Ben, hopefully Tucker eventually gets out of the league, and Darren will kick him to the NBA, and you have more guys go on that path. But it shows you can certainly do it from the Valley. So we're thrilled for him, and certainly wish him well. And he'll have a bunch of fans here in Terre Haute pulling for him, particularly now that he's not playing against us anymore.